Hello friends. So today we are going to see in this video what are triggers, what is the purpose to use them and how to use them. Okay. So as usual, the agenda would be understanding about the triggers first, and then there are three types of triggers: DML triggers, DDL triggers, and logon triggers. So in the part one, we would see DML triggers and DDL triggers, and in part two, we would see the logon triggers, and then as usual, practical demo to make it more clear. So what is trigger? A trigger is a special type of stored procedure that automatically runs when an event occurs in a database server, right? Very simple and very clear. So it's a type of procedure that is multiple statement you can write. And but the very important thing is that it automatically runs when any event occurs on a database. Now there are, three different type of events: DML events, DDL events, and logon events, right? So what is a DML trigger? DML trigger runs when it automatically executes when a user tries to modify data through a data manipulation language DML events, right? So whenever the DML events like insert, update, and delete occurs on a base table, right? It automatically gets executed if the trigger is written on a base table. And what is DDL trigger? So DDL trigger runs in response to a variety of data definition language DDL event. This events primarily corresponds to transact, SQL, create, alter, and draw. So basically, whenever the data definition what you can say language or the events like create, alter, or drop event occurs, you can write this. Now this you can use this. Now this DDL trigger you can write on two different scope, like it's one you can write on an instance level also and database level. So if you want to keep the track of all the schema changes right on all the databases, then you need to write on the instance level, or else you can write on a database level. Okay, let us move directly to the practicals. So here I have already created a demo. Now in this demo I'm going to see I'm going to show you how the history of the records are maintained. Okay, uh, the trigger, we saw that what are triggers, but why do we need them, right? So basically triggers, in older days when the CDC and change token or all such features were not present, right? Basically or generally these triggers were used to maintain the historical, data. So whenever the insert, update, delete happens on a base table, the same record was copied to an history table. And in some cases, for the maintaining the low level integrity of the data. So for example, if you are not writing any constraint, then you can use the triggers to achieve those tasks which you cannot do from a constraint. Okay, so today we will see in a DML trigger, we will see the how to maintain the history of the records, and then again how to maintain the low level integrity. Okay, so let us start with, so here I have two tables. One is this base table called an employee test, which contains three columns: employee ID, name, and salary. Okay, I'm creating this, and at the same time I'm creating one more table, employee test audit. So in this table I would be maintaining the history of my records, which which got inserted, updated, and deleted on this employee test table. So I'm actually taking the same three columns plus two extra columns called as an audit action and audit timestamp. Now, audit action would be populated with what type of action was performed on this base table, and then timestamp would be for maintaining at what time. Okay, on what time it was the this event was occurred. So I'm creating these two tables. So currently these two tables are empty, right? Now, how to write a trigger? As we saw that it's like a procedure, right? So simple. The main syntax would be create the trigger, the type of the object, and then a name, trigger name, and then these two clauses are very important. On, so on means you need to specify the table name. So on what table you want to write this trigger, and for what action. So here we are saying please write the trigger on my employee test table for insert action. Okay, and then once you write this, then this is the trigger body. Okay, so here I have taken the same three variables: employee ID, employee name, and employee salary, and then one more variable, audit action. And what I'm doing, I'm putting, okay, in trigger. Now this is very interesting that there are two magic tables called as an inserted and deleted table, right? The scope of this table would be the trigger execution. So whenever the trigger gets executed, right, on DML operations, these tables would be populated depending upon the action or the event occurred. Okay, so these are called as magic table, inserted and deleted, which contains the same data which was actually authored onto the base table. So whenever the insert happens, inserted would be populated. Whenever the delete happens, deleted would be populated. And whenever the update happens, both the tables would be populated. That is inserted and deleted, right? Because as we know that update, we write one single statement, but in background, actually two actions are performed. The old record is deleted and the new record is inserted. So what I'm doing, I have created three variables. I'm putting the value from my inserted table into these variables, all the three, and then I'm actually generating this audit action as inserted record after insert trigger. And then I'm inserting that record into my employee test audit, if you can see here from this variable. Okay, let me create this trigger for you. So insert trigger is created. Now this was with variable. Similarly, you can use the table directly also, right? So in my update trigger, so here I'm writing the update trigger. Again, the syntax remain the same on what table and for what action, right? And here also I'm putting the value, putting the data into my audit table, but instead of using the variable, I am using the the value data from the table itself directly. So as I told you, in update two tables are maintained, the deleted and inserted. So I'm inserting one record from deleted and one record from an inserted. Let me create this trigger for you. So the trigger is created, and again for the delete same, but here again I'm doing this with the help of variables. So all my triggers are actually created, and where you can see these triggers under your tables. So as we know that we have created triggers on my base tables, when you expand this trigger, you can see all these triggers. Okay. So let us see now action. Okay, how this performs. So currently still my both the tables are empty. So I'm inserting one record in my base table. And now if you see, there would be record in a base table as well as my audit table. And in my audit table, you can see inserted record after insert trigger and then with a timestamp. Okay, I am updating the trigger. I am updating the record now. When I update, now you can see two records are actually inserted into this. Okay, one with the old record which was having 990 salary, 900 salary, and then one which having 1550. So my base table contains only one record, but my audit table contains two record, one with the old and one with the new. Now here again there is one advantage, by mistake if someone delete the records, right? Okay, I'm deleting first. Let me delete the record. So I'm deleting the record, and now if you can see. Here, there is no record in my base table, but my audit table still contains the records. Now, this is one more advantage of the triggers, right? That if someone mistakenly delete the record from the base table, then still you can get that record from your audit table or the history tables, and you can again input that record, insert that record into your base tables, right? So this is one more advantage, right? So these were the three triggers: insert, update, and delete. Okay, depending upon the action we performed, the record got inserted into our audit table. Hope you uh, you know you understood this. Now this I created three separate triggers. The same thing we can do with the single trigger also. So here I'm dropping these triggers, and now I'm creating one single trigger, all the actions into one single trigger. So here the basic syntax remains the same, that on what table, but instead of actually specifying single event, I'm actually specifying all the events. But you will have to know we will have to actually now make it out that what event was might have been occurred. So here what I'm actually doing, I'm checking the record in both the tables first in my first if condition, that whether record was present in inserted as well as in deleted, that means update might have been occurred. If record was actually present only in inserted, then insert was occurred, and if record is present only in deleted, then the delete was occurred. So this way you can write a single trigger here, and it will also perform in the same way. Okay, again the same. I'm inserting one record here, and you can see the record, one record I'm updating. Okay, again new and old. Okay, and I'm deleting the record. So here you can see again the record got deleted, right? Delete trigger, update trigger, and insert trigger. Okay. Right. So this was related to how to write a triggers, right? Separate triggers and the with the same single trigger. Okay. Now let us see how when I talk about about the low level integrity, right? So here what I'm doing now, we are checking that I want to restrict the record to be deleted whose employee salary is greater than 1200. So I may have a number of records, but I want to restrict that. Okay, the employees whose salary is greater than 1200 should not be get deleted, and the concern error should be raised. Okay, so again same create or alter trigger name on what. Now here, instead of here, see here what we were writing for insert update and delete, here we are writing instead of delete. And similarly, you can write instead of delete, instead of insert, and instead of update. So in this case, before the delete happens in the base table, this trigger would get executed. In earlier case, the trigger was executed after the event was performed. But in this case, before the event, of course, the event has been identified that it is a delete. So, but before the action performed on the base table, this trigger would get executed. Right, and here we write a rule that okay, from my deleted table, because already delete has happened, right? So the record would be contained into deleted. So I'm checking that from my deleted table, if my salary is greater than 1200, then what I'm saying, cannot delete the salary, and I roll back the transaction. I roll back everything what has been deleted, right? But if not, then I'm inserting one record in the test audit, and then I'm deleting the record from the base table also. Okay, so let me create this for you, and let me insert two record. One is with Jitendra, and here the salary would be 1300. Let me first truncate the tables. Okay, insert, and then this is and one more record as Rakesh, and here I would say salary would be 1100. Okay, insert. Now if you can see, there are two records, Jitendra and right. Now I am trying to delete the record for Rakesh. Okay, which has the salary 1100. Right, now it was successful, and you can see from the base table the record got deleted, and in my audit table it actually got inserted that record was deleted, and we got an audit, right? Audit of that history of that table. Now I am trying to delete the record for Jitendra, and now when I delete this record, you can see cannot delete where salary is greater than 1200. And now if you see, the record also would not get deleted, and you will not have anything into. Now this you can maintain. Still you can have into the audit table that someone tried to delete the record, right? But here the trigger is written in such a way that we are not putting anything into the this, okay, audit table. Okay, right. Got the point? So this was related to maintaining the low level integrity instead of trigger, right? So this way you can restrict the user on inserting or deleting the trigger. Okay. When you disable, so you can disable the trigger in two ways. Either you go to the trigger and right click and say disable, or you can say disable trigger name on employee test, and then again enable trigger name. Now why we need this? Sometimes it happens that if you are actually migrating a huge amount of data, then then you don't want to keep this history unnecessary, right? In those cases what you can do is you disable first the trigger on the table, and then do the migration, and then again enable back. Okay, and similarly when you want to drop the trigger, just right click and say delete, or you can say here as we have said drop trigger. Okay, so this was related to the DML triggers. Now let us move on to the DDL triggers, right? So here I am actually what I want to do is that I want to track that what type of schema changes were done onto my table. So for that, initially I'm creating one table called as the DDL event logs, and these are the some values we got from the event data. So whenever that you write a DDL trigger, there is an event data would be actually event data would be containing all this information about the server name, login name, username, database name, schema name, object name, and from this event data you need to extract those values, and you want to put into this table which we have created. Okay, so let me first create a drop if anything is there. Okay, I think this has the broken connection. So let me, okay, right? And now let me draw first everything. Okay, let me create this table on the trigger demo. Now, if you can see, if you refresh this tables, you can see we have DDL event log table, which we would be logging all our schema changes into this table. Okay, now I'm creating this. I'm creating this uh, database level trigger here. So creator alter trigger again same thing trigger, and I'm saying schema changes tracking, but here I'm specifying on what, on database, for what, for DDL table events. There we were specifying for insert, right? That is a DML. So here I'm specifying on database. So currently this trigger would be only applicable for this trigger demo database. Okay, and for what? So for all DDL events, and then it's very simple that what we say, first we take a variable and we put that event data, all the values from that event data into my variable, and then with the help of this at the rate event data dot nodes, if if you have worked with XML type, then you can understand this. Then putting all this information, extracting the information from this my at the rate event data variable, and then putting that into my detailed event log. So it's very actually simple. Okay, so let me create this trigger, execute. Now where this trigger would be created, so if you refresh this, right, and then I think on the server objects, where is my server objects? Uh, give me okay, uh, just give me, okay, on the security. Oh, sorry guys, even I forgot okay, database triggers, right? Under programmability, you can see database triggers, right? Schema change tracking. Okay, even I forgot because I know I got confused with the instance level. Okay, so on under the database there is a programmability option, and under programmability you can see database trigger and you can see the trigger here. Okay, so now my trigger is in place. Now let us do something. What I'm saying, create table. Okay, then I'm altering table employee test, and then I'm altering employee I'm dropping the column. So I have actually performed three schema changes into this database, and let us see what was captured. So you can see here all these three schema changes were captured. Like what was the event type. So initially we actually done create table. So this was create table, and then we had two alter table. So alter table, the timestamp here, server name, you can see here the server name, the login name, I am logged in with training, right? What was the database name? So we have performed this on trigger demo, right? What was the schema? What was the object name? So we actually done this on an employee test table, right? Object type a table. And then here you can get a full schema change scripts also, right? That what actually TSQL command was fired. So you can this. And as I was talking this event data in an XML format. So when you click here, you can get all this information onto the from this event data, which we actually extracted into each separate column and inserted into the event logs. Got the point, right? So this was on a database level, and this way you can actually track whoever is doing this, schema changes, you can track as per the databases. Okay, now let us see how to do this on a instance level. So let me first drop everything. Again, we have dropped everything. Again, I'm creating this table. And now you can see here again creator table, creator alter trigger schema change tracking on all server. Okay. So now this is on an instance level and not on a database level for DDL table events. Again, the rest of the thing remain the same. Event we will have the event data and we would capture the different information from an event data. Okay. Let me create this trigger for you. Okay, this trigger has been created, and when you actually refresh, now this was on a instance level, right? So so under server objects, under triggers, you can see this schema change tracking trigger. See, earlier we had this trigger on this programmability on database triggers, right? But here on all servers, so we have created a trigger on a server, right? So and hence we can it is actually created under instance, and that is under server objects. There is a option called triggers, and under triggers you can see your trigger. Okay. Now let us perform some action here again. Okay, so I am again doing the same create table, alter table, again alter table, and now if you see in the event logs, you can see create alter, and you can see here the database name was trigger demo. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating one new database called create database new demo, and I'm using that database, and then I'm doing some schema changes there. Okay, right? So in the new database. And now if you check this event logs, now you can see these two statements, create table new employee, alter table new employee has been created, has been actually captured. And you can see here the database name also. And rest of the thing remain the same, that the full TSQL command, what was the object name, what was the object type, what was the schema, database name and everything. But this was the demo to show you that actually, this is now capturing for all the database. Whatever schema changes you will perform on any of the database under that instance, it would get captured. Okay, right? So this was a DDL trigger, right? Hope you liked it, guys. If you liked it, please, don't forget to comment, right? So from your comments, I can improve a lot. So whenever you watch these videos, please try to comment if you want to, if you want to say anything, if you want to pass on any message to me, so that I can improve on my videos, right? So as usual, please like it, share it with your friends, and don't forget to, if you're the first timer, then don't forget to subscribe the videos, subscribe to my channel, so that whenever I actually upload new videos, you will keep getting the notification, right? So thanks for viewing this video. Meet you next time with the next topic. Till then, bye. Take care.